Hey guys, welcome to episode 6. We're on now 6. I'm here with Brett. I'll give you guys a brief introduction of who he is, then we'll get going. Actually, I've been working with him for a while now, so I know him pretty well. This should be one of the most dynamic conversations that we'll have on here. So Brett is a fellow financial advisor. Actually, he was one of the original 3 who founded Wellington Oak Ridge. Brett, me, and D'Angelo. So Brett is more than a financial advisor, though, I should say, much more. He was part of some risky investment decisions in the stock market back in 2014 that left him and his friend with over $900,000, which they eventually lost. He's been a DJ of sorts, a burger flipper like most of us at some point, and more recently, a novice to intermediate level player in the world of cryptocurrency. Perhaps the truest description of Brett, though, above all else, is that he is a witty little shit, a supreme troll, and a meme propagator. In fact, I don't even understand Brett. And I've talked to him basically 3 times a day for over 2 years. Welcome, Brett.
Thanks for having me.
All
Solid
right.
intro.
Yeah, it's not bad. Describes you pretty well. Okay, so before we get going into your personality type and into the topic today, which is extreme self-belief, what would you say is the most important thing in your life right now?
Most important thing in my life? My self-belief, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, without that, there's nothing, you know what I mean?
So where did it come from?
Where does it actually come from? I don't know, just within, man. I actually just believe in everything I say, it just happens. And if I think of something, it'll happen. Negative or positive.
Was it always like that?
No.
And when did it change?
Grade 11.
Okay.
Grade 11, I was fat and I had just a deep bowl cut on my head.
Yeah.
And like I was always thinking, like, you know how like they always tell you like fucking everyone has that one thing, you know, someone has something they're good at.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my room, I was like, hey, I don't really think I'm good at anything.
Mm-hmm.
So then I kind of decided, I was like, what if I just pick something?
Yeah.
And whatever I wanted to get good at, I would just do it until I was good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I believed that whatever I chose, I would eventually just become good at.
Okay. And what would happen if you tried to get good at it and you were shit still? Then how do you justify that?
That doesn't happen.
Okay.
There's something I've actually fully, if there's something that I started and I did it for like 10 minutes and I wasn't good, then I would say like, okay, you know, I didn't actually try.
Right.
But there's nothing that I actually gave 110% for that I actually wanted that just never happened.
So the reason why I thought this episode would be so interesting is because I don't think I've ever met somebody who is as insane on this topic as I am. I think I have finally met that person, which is you.
Yeah.
You know, I'll call a shot. I think it's unreasonable, and then I'll commit to it for reasons. I look into it a little bit differently than you. You have to kind of just say, because I'll just get it done. I kind of have it broken down, you know, the way I am, pretty all like intellectual and detailed about it. But yours comes from a much different place. So, you know, what sorts of things do you think you are the most confident in right now?
Things I'm the most confident in? My ability to get things done.
Okay.
Like my ability to actually, like what right now when I'm thinking like work, like I know there's no appointment that I'll go on that I won't, like that they won't be impressed.
Right.
Like I can't think of the last appointment I walked into that I didn't close.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe it was a messy close and it took me 4 or 5 months and fucking it was
that's what we do.
a tragedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like the people still fully believed in what I said. I like the thing I'm most confident in is that whoever I talk to, I can get them to believe in exactly what I pitch.
Okay.
Like if it's confidence in me, confidence in fucking what I do, anything like that. Like I believe that if I sit there and talk, they'll buy what I'm selling, basically.
Okay, so here's the catch, because really I want to add value to the people listening. So to somebody who looks at us, well, one says, okay, is it fake? The answer is no. I think it's been earned over time. But 2, how can you get them to have that? You know, how can you get somebody to have that sort of self-belief? Do you have any advice for somebody who's trying to find that part of themselves? Because your whole life is different when you can bet on yourself.
Yeah. So I'll take it back to when I started to actually have any self-belief.
Okay.
And like, I started watching just like montages on YouTube of people who had a ton of self-belief. Like Ziz, I don't know if I ever showed you that guy. He was just jacked guy on YouTube, and his whole theory was that like you can do whatever you want as long as you just do it. And he's like, no one will care at all. Like he's like, I'm just so jacked and I'll just do whatever, like whatever I say, people just say it's okay. And like his whole philosophy was that you need to be like him. And he was the weirdest fuck. He died because at 22 he just died because his heart exploded.
Okay.
Because the doctor told him, if you don't stop like working out as much as you do and living the lifestyle you do, your heart will explode because you have a condition. And he said, I'd rather live 22 years as a god than 80 as a pussy.
Yeah.
And he just kept doing exactly what he wanted to do until he died. So,
so how does he get somebody into that?
So like,
mental state? Not everybody wants to die young. So that's
no.
Most
Like,
thing,
but I mean, like I started watching people like that.
Yeah.
Like people that were talking like, hey, you just gotta believe in yourself and do whatever you want.
So your advice is to start listening to those
finding mentors in that.
Yeah.
Like
that's I guess the real
you know
professional
what I mean?
answer.
Like, yeah, like finding people that will talk like that can help instill it in you.
So who are those people in your life right now?
Right now, us.
Yeah.
Our conversations that we have.
Yeah.
A couple of my friends. That there's like people that I know believe in me and will bet on me. Kari's a mentor for that in a way that I watch him be so sure of himself that like it's not like he'll ever out loud tell us like, hey, you know, you can do this if you believe in it. But like when we talk to him and I see him be so sure in whatever he says that he just is gonna go well, I think like, okay, I need to be on that level. Like my mental state needs to be as sure as this guy. Right. You know, so it's like not a vocal mentor at all like
we're just watching the guy move.
Yeah, when I watch him, I'm like, okay, when I do something, it doesn't matter what you do. If you're as sure as Kari is in anything, it'll just get done.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like outside of finance and business, like.
Yeah, when I watch Kari maneuver, I think I just stopped listening to. I mean, I tried listening to what he's saying, but it's tough to understand what he's saying. But it's more about watching the guy move and the way he succeeds and stuff like that. You know, I could totally see that. Okay, so I want to pivot it a little bit here. So, if you see yourself maybe in the next 5-10 years, I imagine we'll be friends, but maybe we won't always be as everyday business partners because we'll be doing our own things. Where do you want to take this Brett Tavares in the future?
Where do I want to take me?
Yeah. Like what's the vision for yourself? Your personality, businesses you want to build, maybe just where you want to be living. Like, I just don't think I envision you sitting in a chair like this in Cambridge.
No, there's no way.
Right?
No,
so
yeah.
What's going on?
My plan is to, in the next 2 years, be fully moved to California.
Okay.
Because I want to keep doing our business for the next 2 years as much as I can. And then when I move to California, I have a couple thoughts. Like, do I continue to run finance out there because I've already found success in it and I know how to work it and get it started out there, or do I go full time into what I want to do is talent management out there.
All right.
I want to find actors, musicians, be an actual manager, help people further their careers, and use at that point the financial success I have there and stuff like that to help bring people along. Because I feel like I've always had a knack for seeing someone and knowing that'll be the next big thing. That person will be the next up. So I want to be able to help those people get there and make it my business and profit off it. And then my final end game 10-year plan is I want to run a production studio.
Okay.
I want to be a movie producer.
Okay, and then how do you think that your self-confidence, self-belief is going to help you through that process? Because in my mind, let me just quickly jump in here.
Yeah.
I think anybody entering the industry, if it's LA or wherever it is, and you're trying to get your first gig, it's going to be a little shit who just pitches and I'll just give the kid a shot because it's just hilarious. You know what I mean? So I think that's where it fits in. But go ahead. How do you think it's going to work for you?
So my self-belief is going into it knowing that I'll just figure it out. I'm sure it's going to suck at the beginning and I'm going to take some L's, but my self-belief makes me know that I'll just figure out any fucking obstacle that I come across and I'll just get by it and keep moving until I'm successful in it. And your point to that little shit, that someone just does something stupid. You gotta give the little
shit a shot.
Fucking Joey Diaz said he got his first role by walking into the room and he was 500 pounds at the time. He walked in the room and took his clothes off, and he was just in his underwear. And the crew started laughing so hard, and he just read the script in his underwear. And they hired him because they're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
It's just, you gotta just go rogue and
I didn't know that story. I don't know how you know these stories, but
do something completely out of the ordinary. Like, that's how it helps people make it, right? You just think of something crazy. And
do you ever wonder if self-belief wasn't something you should take credit for, and maybe it was upbringing, environment, luck?
No, definitely not upbringing or environment. I don't give any of my self-belief doesn't go to any upbringing or environment.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Not at all.
Okay.
But what was the last one you said? Upbringing, luck?
Luck.
Okay, luck. I think you make your own luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's like...
Because here's the reason why I think luck sometimes, because I'll believe something to be true, and I think, hey, if you just knew this, you would also have self-belief. And then I tell somebody this, but then they don't have self-belief. So the same thing doesn't apply to two people identically. So I was wondering, what's the difference? Well, maybe like genetically they just are different, or maybe they've had a tough upbringing and parents didn't support them and self-esteem is low and it just doesn't affect them the same way.
Okay, I think that you telling someone will never, like for self-belief wise, they'll never be able to get self-belief off just you telling them. Mm-hmm. I think they can only actually, like if you think the one thing this person needs to hear to have self-belief is this, and you tell them that, that's not, like, they need to come up with that themselves. That's what I think. To actually have self-belief, you have to think your way into it. Like, I could tell you should believe in yourself 1,000,000 times, and it can help you eventually get to that mindset, but I don't think you'll have self-belief until you're sitting there one day and you're like, you come up with that, maybe the exact sentence you said to them 1,000,000 times, they come up with themselves. And that's when they actually believe.
Maybe that's the issue with audiobooks, because sometimes I listen to an audiobook and say, oh yeah, that makes something, like I just start repeating it to myself and I understand it. And I wonder sometimes, because people, the greatest secrets of self-esteem, self-belief, self-efficacy, all these things come in these audiobooks. I'm listening like, okay, these are the secrets of the world, and millions of people listen to them. I know they do. Yeah. So then why aren't there just infinitely successful people if they're all listening to these damn books? Yeah. And maybe that's what it is. Mm-hmm. You know? Like I think about that all the time. I listen to Gary Vee, Grant Cardone. I'm like, hey, these are the secrets, and people aren't applying them. And I also think that a lot of people believe they have self-belief. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, some sort of adversity hits them, and then they just disappear.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they're gone. But that also helps you, I guess, build it. Adversity, assuming that you survive, it could also break you.
But like, if you truly believe in something and you hit the speed bump, the adversity, like, I think you just keep going. The people who call it quits, like, the reason they like, okay, so if you start a business and your first client tells you to fuck off, the only reason you quit is because you actually didn't believe that you were going to succeed in that business. Mm-hmm. That's my thought on it. Like, maybe you put up a front to make yourself feel good to walk into that person's house or to knock on the door, but the moment they told you no, if you were just like, all right, see you later, you were probably faking it to yourself there.
See, sometimes I think, like, I reflect back on the first day I ever pitched you to work with me. Yeah. I try to put on, like, yo, I got this shit figured out. Just reach, fucking, we'll cash out. Like, 6 weeks, we're done. Millionaires, billionaires. And at some point along the way, you concluded that was not true. Maybe immediately. Yeah. Maybe, like, the moment of. And I wonder, well, you know, why did he still roll with it? But then I guess the answer is because you're sick. Because you think you're sick. So it didn't matter if I was just shit. Right? You'd figure it out. Yeah. And I think that's actually the explanation for why I would jump into a lot of things. I don't necessarily, like, mentorship's important, but I don't necessarily need to be working with somebody who's killing it if you already think you're the guy. Yeah. You know? And I think that's why I would value, like, business partnerships with people like that and Jamie and other guys like that who really just think that they're the fucking guy. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you don't have your shit together, because I have my shit together, kind of thing. Yeah. You know, and then I think that's what also, I think it's necessary to succeed, because you're not always going to have good mentorship. You're not always going to have good clients. Lord knows we got our ass beat the last 3 years up and down. You know, we've been okay. We've also got our ass kicked too. And if it weren't for that sort of self-belief, I mean, geez, imagine where we would have been. Flipping burgers.
Because think about how many people, like, try to sit with a client for anything. And, like, the chances that you close your first one, like, it's a hard 0.1.
Chargeback.
You know? It happens, but yeah, you get fucked somewhere.
Yeah.
So the moment they get that first no, like
You get fucked somewhere. That's actually the best way to sum it up.
yeah, you can close them, but 6 months down the road, 4 months down the road, whatever, you get fucked somewhere.
Yeah. I
But
agree.
so many people, they'll get their first no and it's just over. Because they were like, or like a lot of people will go for their first sale or anything, will go to someone that they like know.
Yeah.
So like if
And
this
they may still say no.
if this person believes in me, then maybe I can believe in myself.
Yes.
And then
That's a
they
big
get
point.
the no and they're like, okay, now I can't believe in myself because
Hey, I think it's a big point. I think that a lot of people, their belief they believe is their own, but it's actually they're borrowing other people's belief in them. And when those people stop believing in them, they're left with nothing.
yeah.
And normally that's a friend or something, and then another friend's gone and now you're screwed. Or even just a parent who believes in you, but you never really believe. So now all of a sudden, your parents, I don't think this business idea is a good idea, and now you have nothing.
Yeah.
Because it was never you. It was always somebody else supporting you.
Yeah, exactly.
And truthfully, a lot of those people aren't going to support everything you do. So if it's not you, then who the hell is it going to be?
Yeah, because the chances that everyone close to you supports your actions are not high,
Yeah,
especially if you're doing
they're
something
actually,
out of the
zero.
ordinary. Especially if you're doing something out of the ordinary, like trying to drop out of school, start a business, do something like that. Like, your parents are probably going to tell you to fuck off right away, Because they're like, I fucking saved your RESP, I fucking everything, and you
I
just
wiped your
quit
ass.
halfway through. Yeah,
Still cook you dinner.
yeah, shit like that. So like, if you do something like drastic, a lot of people are gonna say that's stupid, or like even in general, people will start something that's so comprehensible, like a landscaping company. Everybody knows that people need landscaping. Everybody knows that it works, and you could start something like that, and your parents could tell you that's stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who fucking needs it on?
Yeah, like if you're trying to make an app and your parents have no clue what an app is,
Yeah.
like they'll probably
you're
tell you,
fucked.
yeah,
but
but
first
like
3 years you're getting crushed.
yeah, but if you bring them something that even they understand, the moment someone thinks of not being an employee, they're like, you're an idiot.
Yes.
That's risky. You're gonna lose everything. You're wasting your time. So then the moment someone hears that, if they didn't actually believe in themselves or their idea, they're crushed.
See, I think you use humor to get out of it in ways that I never did until I met you.
Yeah.
It's actually helped me a lot. But like, I think that you guys could be around a really sensitive topic and then you just never let it get to the point because you just meme your way out of it.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did that come from? Was that some sort of revelation you had a couple years ago? Has it always been like that?
You need comedic relief.
I use it. It's a good move.
Yeah, no, you need comedic relief.
Yeah.
It helps out.
But it's more than that. It's more than that.
Yeah, it's just
Something going on there, man.
Humor I've been using for a very long time, but there was so it was always humor like towards other people. Like when I was a kid, we were just always roasting people. I don't know why, but like my whole like school was like a war zone. Like everyone's just roasting people all the time. Yeah. And then one day, somebody started making fun of themselves. And we were like, and it was like my friend tried to make fun of this dude, and he made fun of himself back and stared at my friend, and I was like, that's so funny. That's so, like, if something goes, like an appointment goes wrong, you're like, holy fuck, I suck, I might as well quit.
Yeah.
And then you laugh at it, and then you just move on. And,
yeah.
Like,
that's our everyday conversation.
Yeah, like when the first time someone ever said that, I was like, that's the funniest shit I ever heard. So I started using that. Like, it was literally some guy on Xbox that did it for the first time, and I was like, that's because like I always used comedy for everything, like just fucking all the time, but then actually like
the self roast
to give yourself more self-belief for some reason is so powerful.
I know, it seems so
like,
counterintuitive because people are like, oh, speak only well of yourself.
Yeah.
That's true, but like if you're kind of like memeing yourself,
yeah,
and it's not true, you're just kind of playing with it.
Yeah,
it could work.
See, here's the thing: like a lot of people like will be worried if someone else is gonna say something to them, like, oh, you're shit, oh, you should quit that, oh, like it doesn't make sense. But if you've already said it to yourself, I mean, you already heard it from the person who believes in you the most. So
that's why we say Trip Zero, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
even
like
if we have 3 cents to our name, we call ourselves Trip Zero, which means zero money.
So if you say like, oh yeah, I suck, I might as well quit, close down the business tomorrow. If someone tells you that the next day, you're like, oh, I already heard it from me, and I actually I actually matter to me more. So.
So what about getting super serious? Do you think you have a hard time with that?
Not really.
No.
I think I can turn it off and on like when I need to. I think I can get serious pretty easily because I've been through like a lot of shit in my life that made me more emotionally mature than most people, I think. So like when I need to just become completely serious, I can.
Yeah.
And like, even at the end of a serious conversation, like no matter how deep it gets, I still feel like you gotta make a joke. Like at the very end of it, like, cause you gotta laugh. You can't be too serious.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so then I think we should probably wrap it up soon anyway. Look at the clock. Okay, so there's somebody listening right now who's looking at you or me or both of us and thinking, damn, I just can't even get out of bed.
Yeah.
Can't even get the confidence to look at somebody in the face today.
Yeah.
To start the upward spiral.
Yeah.
So what's your advice to them for today? What should they do next after the end of this video?
Find literally anything that you're passionate about.
And then what?
Start doing that to help you get out of bed. And like, it'll let you meet people that you can talk to because they share the same passion as you. Like even if it's fucking playing video games, as long as it gets you out of bed, it'll get you a little bit social.
Okay.
And it'll help you break through those barriers. And because if you're saying you literally can't get out of bed, that means you're at a zero, right?
Zero.
So if you can find anything you're passionate about that you can have an activity, even if it's like an hour a day, it helps you get to 1%, and then you can keep moving on.
Thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. Perfect.